Welcome to my channel Starlight Sci-Fi Stories. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe. They told me aliens would be terrifying. They never warned me some of them would be gorgeous. My name is Alex Carter, former construction worker, current diplomat in training, and universal expert in sticking my foot straight into my mouth. That part will become obvious soon enough. See, humanity had just joined the Galactic Coalition. We were the new kids in a cosmic school filled with species who had been flying between stars while we were still learning how to boil water without poisoning ourselves. Most aliens thought we were unpredictable, dangerous, and probably a little insane. They weren't wrong. My first diplomatic assignment was aboard the GSS Valiant, a massive ship hosting a peace summit between dozens of warrior species, many of whom had been fighting for centuries. Humans, we were the wild card meant to keep them from ripping each other's limbs off. I wasn't supposed to speak much. Just observe, smile, try not to insult anyone. So naturally the first thing I did was insult someone. Well, compliment, but the kind of compliment that turns into an international incident. The first time I saw her, she was sparring in the combat ring, a blur of teal skin, muscle, and raw ferocity. Her species was the Valari, elite fighters genetically built for war. Her name was Rhaenara, 8 feet tall, horns like obsidian blades, armor that clung to every powerful curve. A predator wrapped in poetry. She slammed another warrior into the floor, pinning him with one boot. The entire room flinched. The Valari cheered. My jaw dropped. She noticed. Her amber eyes locked onto mine with lethal precision, like I had challenged her just by existing. She turned away, but not before I made a mistake that would haunt me forever. Under my breath, barely audible, I muttered, "Nice butt." Except it was audible, because Valari hearing is 6 times better than a human's. She froze. Her skin flushed a deep shade of crimson, embarrassment, fury, I couldn't tell. She marched toward me, every step a seismic threat. I had to look up, way up, when she stopped an inch from my face. In perfect, accented English, she growled, "You dare comment on a Valari warrior's posterior?" I laughed nervously. It's not a comment, it's a fact. A very obvious, scientifically verifiable fact. Her hand clamped around my ribs like a hydraulic press. Air fled my lungs. I was pretty sure a few ribs did crack. "You insult me. You challenge me. Which is it?" she snarled. I wheezed out, "Compliment." She blinked. A moment of confusion. Then, the strangest thing, her flush deepened. She released me and stormed off, tail lashing like an angry cat that could bench press a starship. The incident that didn't end the universe. I expected to be thrown out an airlock within the hour. Instead, the ship's captain, a grizzled reptilian named Sigurath, laughed so hard his scales rattled. "You humans," he managed between hisses, "have no survival instinct." "That's not true," I protested. "We survived just fine." "Yes," he agreed, "through luck." Even the diplomats whispered about the event. Some found it amusing. Others thought humanity had just declared mating rights or a duel to the death. With Valari, it could be either, or both. Later that night, I found Rhaenara alone in one of the observation decks, staring at the stars. Her posture was rigid, but her voice, unexpectedly soft. "Human," she said without looking at me. "Is it common, among your kind, to speak so boldly?" "Pretty much," I admitted. "We say whatever comes to mind. Keeps life exciting." She turned toward me slowly. "Your words earlier, they were meant as praise." I nodded. "I didn't mean disrespect. You're just impressive." Her expression flickered, confusion, curiosity, maybe even pride. "You admire strength," she said. "Yeah," I replied, "and humor, and courage, and that thing you did where you threw that 6-armed guy like a sack of potatoes." Rhaenara's lips curled subtly, the Valari equivalent of a smile. "You are strange," she declared. "Thanks." That was not praise. It felt like praise. She huffed, a soft, rumbling sound. And for the first time, she laughed. It felt like I had just won a cosmic lottery. War finds us peace summits rarely bring peace. On the third day, alarms blared. A hostile fleet appeared. The Drav, parasitic conquerors who believed every species should kneel or die. They attacked without warning, boarding from all sides. Diplomats panicked. Soldiers rushed into battle. The corridor erupted in a symphony of energy blasts and howling alien war cries. Rhaenara thrust a plasma spear into my hands. "You will stay behind me," she ordered. "Humans are fragile." "Hey," I protested. "We survived our own cooking." That takes toughness. Before she could argue, a Drav drone pounced from above, and I, with zero training, swung the spear wildly. I missed. Completely. Rhaenyra sliced the drone in half like butter. Perhaps, she muttered, you survive by making enemies laugh themselves to death. Whatever works, I grinned. But the situation was getting worse. The Drav intended to sabotage the ship's reactor, a catastrophic detonation that would wipe out every representative of the coalition. We rushed through smoke-filled corridors, fighting side by side. Rhaenyra was a calm storm of destruction, elegant, lethal. I did my best to stay alive and occasionally poke enemies in ways that were, hopefully, helpful. At the reactor core, we confronted the Drav commander, a towering mass of chitin and claws. Rhaenyra fought him like a goddess of war, until a strike knocked her weapon away, sending her crashing to the floor. He loomed over her, mandibles splitting in triumph. Without thinking, which is my specialty, I jumped on his back and jammed a maintenance cable right into the glowing vents along his spine. The surge fried him instantly. He collapsed with a deafening screech. I stumbled back, hands shaking. Rhaenyra stared up at me, stunned. You defended me, she whispered. I shrugged. Couldn't let a butt that nice get stabbed. Her breath caught. She stood, towering over me, eyes wide with something impossible to misinterpret now, respect. You were reckless, foolish, utterly bizarre, she said. Then she placed a hand on my shoulder, gently this time. And I will fight beside you. Always. Aftermath, and the invitation. The battle ended in our favor. The Drav retreated, leaving the coalition battered but alive. Diplomats hailed humanity as unpredictable heroes. Sigorith himself announced, it seems humans are not only insane, they are effective. Rhaenyra approached me in the crowded celebration hall. In Valari culture, she explained, when a warrior praises another's form, it is a sign of interest. A courtship gesture. My throat went dry. I did say you had a nice butt. Yes. Her eyes gleamed. You declared interest. Boldly. Before all others. Oh, I croaked. What happens next? She leaned closer, voice low. If you wish it, we train together. Eat together. We hunt enemies together. We share victory together. I swallowed. And if I don't, she shrugged, then I will respect your choice. And still protect you. Because you protected me. A warrior's loyalty, unconditional. I looked into her fierce golden eyes, remembering how she shielded me, how she laughed despite herself, how she nearly crushed my ribs because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I would like that, I said. All of it. Her horns lowered in a sign of affection. Then we begin. She reached for my hand, carefully, mindful of her strength. And just like that, across the stars, among species ancient and mighty, a human flirtation became a promise. A promise that might one day shake the entire galaxy. As the celebration continued, Rhaenyra stood protectively at my side. Diplomats stared, whispering, the tiny human tamed a Valari warrior. Impossible. But I knew better. I didn't tame her. I just noticed she had a nice butt. Begin Chapter 2. Peace never lasts long in space. 3 weeks after the Drav attack, the GSS Valiant sailed into disputed territory, neutral ground between the coalition and a new threat gathering beyond charted maps. The Drav had retreated, but they hadn't disappeared. Rhaenyra and I trained together every morning. For her, it was discipline. For me, survival. And, maybe to spend more time watching how her muscles move beneath that armor, purely academic interest, obviously. You must grip firmly, she instructed, adjusting the plasma spear in my hands. Your stance is still unstable. It's hard to be stable, I grunted, trying not to shake, when someone 8 feet tall is judging every move I make. Her tail flicked, Valari for amusement. You chose a mate stronger than you, she teased. I nearly dropped the spear. Mate, Rhaenyra tilted her head. Did you not intend that? Humans shout their attraction for all to hear. I thought you sought union. My brain stalled. I just said you had a nice butt. And thus, she proclaimed, you demonstrated boldness and desire. How could I refuse such a courageous suitor? My heart stumbled. My tongue died. My soul temporarily left my body to scream into the void. Rhaenyra stepped closer, eyes smoldering with warrior certainty. Do you regret your declaration? I swallowed. Hard. No, I said truthfully. I just didn't know it meant all that. Her voice softened. Then learn. With me, I would have said yes right then, if alarms hadn't interrupted. A harsh, shrieking klaxon wailed through the ship. Incoming attack. All combat personnel to defense stations. Rhaenyra's battle mask dropped into place. All warrior now, no softness. We move, she commanded. And I followed. A new enemy when the jump gate opened, a ship unlike anything recorded emerged. Black, organic, pulsing with violet lightning, the Drav Hive flagship, but the Drav weren't alone. Creatures poured out, nightmarish hybrids stitched with cybernetics and parasitic armor. Rhaenyra hissed, they have experimented on living warriors. No, Sigorith corrected grimly over comms. They have enslaved them. These weren't invaders. They were the conquered, broken. And leading them, a towering figure wrapped in silver carapace stepped onto the hull via magnetic anchors. The screens zoomed in, a Valari. Abomination, twisted, horns soared into grotesque shapes. A cybernetic mask hiding all identity, except the eyes. Fiery gold. Rhaenyra froze. Why your brother, she whispered. Zelek. Pain shattered her voice. He had been presumed dead, a hero fallen in the Valari War. But now he stood corrupted, serving Drav overlords. I grabbed her arm. We can get him back. No, she murmured. He is gone. I squeezed harder. Not until you say he is. Rhaenyra looked at me, and something returned to her gaze, hope sharpened by fury. She roared, lifting her spear. For family. For Hono. Ah, for the galaxy. The Valari squads echoed her cry, shaking the deck. War arrived. Aboard the beast we launched onto the flagship via boarding pods, crashing through organic hull walls that wreathed like flesh. Drav screeches echoed through bioluminescent corridors. Rhaenyra led, I guarded her back, or tried to. You must stay alive, she repeated. This is kinda my thing, I said, swinging wildly at a lunging creature. My swing actually connected, sending the monster into a convulsing spasm. See, I said proudly. Rhaenyra blinked, impressed. Humans confuse the universe. We cut through hordes of twisted warriors. Every step took us closer to the Hive Heart, and Zelek. When we reached a cathedral-like chamber, shadowed by pulsating tendrils, Zelek waited atop an organic throne. His voice, warped but still Valari deep, echoed, Rhaenyra, little sister. You survived. Rhaenyra's breath hitched. Brother, come home. Gold eyes narrowed. Mechanical implants crackled as he stood. I have evolved. The weak seek peace. The strong embrace domination. No, Rhaenyra shook. The strong protect. He laughed, cold, venomous. Then why did you choose a fragile human? Zelek pointed a claw at me. This one will be the first to fall. Rhaenyra moved instantly, shielding me with her body. You will not touch him, she snarled. Something flickered across Zelek's expression, confusion, disgust, jealousy. He leapt, a blur of blades. Sibling duel. The clash was monstrous. Spear rang against cybernetic claws. Tendrils cracked beneath the shockwaves. Rhaenyra fought with desperation, every strike fueled by love and fury. Zelek, however, fought with something darker. He seized her arm, slamming her into the ground. Armor splintered. She gasped, but refused to stay down. You abandoned me, Zelek growled. Let me rot while you feasted in victory. We searched. Rhaenyra choked. We mourned you every day. Mourning is weakness. His claw rose, ready to impale. I didn't think. I tackled him. It was like tackling a truck made of knives. Pain exploded across my side, ribs screaming. But I yelled anyway, right into his armored face. Your family, idiot. That made him hesitate, just long enough. Rhaenyra surged up, smashing her horned forehead into his mask, cracking it. Golden eyes widened, vulnerable. Brother, she gasped, gripping his shoulders. Come back, please, for a heartbeat. He did. His arm trembled, lowering. A spark of memory, love, home. Then the hive tendrils above shrieked, and shot spines into his back, forcing obedience with violent surges of electricity. Zelek roared in agony, forced back into Drav control. His voice twisted with pain. Kill her. He lunged again. Rhaenyra screamed, a sound I hope to never hear again. I grabbed a fallen plasma mine and slapped it onto Zelek's spine. Rhaenyra, now, she understood. She thrust her spear, straight into the mine. A blinding blast. Zelek staggered, then collapsed to his knees. His claws faded from red to trembling gold. His mask cracked fully, revealing a tear sliding down his cheek. Sister, the hive tendrils skewered him, dragging his corpse into the shadows. Rhaenyra cried out, reaching, but I held her back as the roof sealed shut with fleshy stone. He was gone. Again. Collapse and escape, the Hive heart screamed as systems failed. Purple lightning surged uncontrollably, the flagship imploding from the inside. Rhaenyra shook with rage and grief. I failed him. No, I said firmly. You set him free. She looked into my eyes, a raw, shattered soul seeking something to hold onto. I offered myself, my hand, my presence. That is not failure. She squeezed my hand, gently, yet powerful enough to tell me she still lived. We escaped just as the corridors folded inward, like a beast devouring itself. The boarding shuttle blasted free, diving into space as the monstrous ship exploded in a supernova blossom of fire and light. Silence, then cheering, from every coalition vessel. Rhaenyra didn't cheer, she simply leaned into me, resting her forehead against mine. He was my strength, she whispered. You are your own, I replied softly. And I'm here, always. She pulled me closer, 8 feet of fierce warrior finding comfort in a fragile human. I wrapped my arms around her as best I could. In the quiet after war, a love born from an awkward compliment became unbreakable. One last question back aboard the Valiant, diplomats celebrated another victory. Sigurath approached us with a rumbling chuckle. You humans attract chaos like a magnet, he said. Do all your romantic confessions end in galactic battles? Most of them, I nodded. Rhaenyra actually smiled, a real one this time. Human, she said, turning fully to me. You risk death for me. You mourn with me. You fight beside me. I ask again. She stepped closer, taking my hands in hers. Do you choose me, as your mate, in war and peace, in strength and in madness? My heart pounded. My ribs ached. I should have been afraid. I wasn't. I grinned. Well, I said, I started all this by admiring your butt. Might as well commit. She huffed, amused. Is that a yes? I nodded. That's a yes. Rhaenyra lifted me off the ground, spinning me before realizing she was nearly cracking my spine again. Gently, I wheezed. She set me down, flustered. I will practice holding you softer, she vowed. Practice can start right now, I smirked. She leaned down, and our lips met. Warm, fierce, perf. ECT. The galaxy didn't explode this time. But I almost did. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Starlight Sci-Fi Stories.